And this is something that we see pretty much like all the time in Chicago. Okay, guys asking guys their gang affiliation, and then they just kill them. You know, they give them the wrong answer, they kill them. They give them the right answer, they kill them. Once the guy asks the gang affiliation, there's no good way it can go. So this guy, he's 30 years old, and I told you guys, shorties and old people. I mean, 30's not old, but it's a lot older than 14. Shorties are beefing with grown people, and grown people are beefing with shorties in Chicago. I mean, you got guys in their 50s, 60s, like on this op stuff with middle schoolers, bro. Like that's where it is. I mean, that's like the craziness of the world we're living in right now, man. But in this case, we got a 30-year-old parolee who asked a 14-year-old boy for his gang affiliation, and he shot the teen in the chest before he even had a chance to answer. And this is a weird situation because they were in the little village area. The tattoos that this guy has are a little weird. He's looking at his face tattoos and try to discern any gang affiliation from the tattoos. The most obvious tattoo that he's got is the Minnesota Twins tattoo on his neck. Minnesota Twins in Chicago is typically a team that's used by the Maniac Latin Disciples, but you know when they do it, it's the M. He's got the TC, and so that doesn't really make that much sense. Plus the D's around there. This is like all the neighborhoods around there. Okay, are either 2-6 or Kings. Okay, the area where they were at was 2-6, and everything like to the east of that is Latin Kings neighborhoods. It's like a bunch of 2-6 sets. So that's the most obvious tattoo he's got. Then he appears to have a small A on his left cheek, and then some word that I can't make out on the right cheek that seems to start with an A. So it's possible he's an Ambrose because the Ambrose sometimes do that. But in that area, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Over there, you would expect just like Kings or 2-6. But I don't know. I don't know. Like I couldn't make it out. I was looking all over the internet for information about this guy. Now his homie, who I'm going to put up a picture of here, in one of his mugshots, he's got like a black and gold or black and yellow shirt on. Okay, and like I said, a lot of the Latino mobs, they still color bang. So I'm checking the colors because he doesn't have any tattoos that are real obvious. In one of these photos, he's got a cross tattoo on the left shoulder, but on the left arm, but that just appears to be just a religious tattoo and not a gang tattoo. Even though, like I said, some gangs do use the cross. But anyways, the judge says it's troubling enough that the defendant would even be armed. And he said this during his detention hearing. He said, but much worse, he brandishes a firearm, points it at the chest of a 14-year-old, and shoots a 14-year-old defenseless child in the chest. It doesn't get more dangerous than that. Now, I don't know what the 14-year-old looked like. He's a minor, and so his identity. At this point, I have not found it out. At some point, that may come to light. But I was riding in a car driven by a 35-year-old named Angel. Okay, now this guy's name is Thomas, the guy with the Minnesota Twins tattoo, and then he's riding in a car with a 35-year-old named Angel. They saw the boy and two of the boy's friends over by 27th and Kamensky. Okay, around 8:30 p.m. on June 11th. Now, like I said, that's 2-6 territory. So this is that's what makes this whole thing so strange to me, man. But anyways, he asked allegedly for the boy's gang affiliation from inside the SUV, and then got out, pulled a gun, and shot him in the chest before he replied. So if he's gonna shoot him before he even replies, then why ask him? You know what I'm saying? Like I would have to see exactly how it went down. I mean, if he's not even gonna give him a chance to answer, then why even ask? Like this whole thing is just strange, man. Like their behavior makes no sense. Even by gangbanger standards, like this makes no sense. So, anyways, the boy collapsed on a nearby lawn. Several people tried to help the boy until the first responders arrived. Okay, so the video allegedly showed Angel speaking with Thomas aggressively and making gestures for him to leave after the shooting. So that's even more interesting. So apparently, the older homie, was not happy with what he had just done. At least it appears from was very upset from his demeanor on camera. Now you can't, as far as I know, there's no audio, so you can't know exactly what he's saying to him. But Chicago police investigators started looking at Thomas after looking at his history and seeing that he and Angel had been arrested together several times. Okay, so the judge and Angel's defense attorney questioned the state's decision to charge Angel with attempted first-degree murder as well. Because as you can see on the video, he clearly, from his body language, it looks like he's not happy with the fact that Thomas just shot this kid. So it's like, why? That would indicate that this thing was not like a joint operation. Like Angel was not in on this. You know, they weren't looking for. This was something that Thomas just decided to do on his own. Now this brings up a very complex and controversial legal scenario that occurs often in Chicago because, you know, kids will get rides home from other kids or from their older brothers or whoever. Okay, now they're not in a gang or they're not, you know, homies with the guy who's driving the car, but then the guy who's driving the car will spot him up and just start blowing. And now everybody in the car is in legal trouble, okay, when the dudes riding in the back were just trying to get a ride home from school. And this type of thing happens, you know, it's too often because everybody's friends with everybody, you know, like everybody's friends with gang members. You grow up together, they join a gang, okay, you're still friends with them. You're from the same neighborhood, you know gang members in the neighborhood, and you can't help but knowing these guys. So then it becomes guilt by association in the eyes of the law, not just the eyes of the ops. So, man, it's so messed up. So now, Angel's charged with first degree murder too. And he said, I understand he was the driver of the vehicle, but I'm trying to understand the state's theory of how he's accountable. Okay, so he also suggested that the gesturing that was referred to could have been something to the effect of, what are you doing? You know, like, and I kind of agree. His gestures and his body language on camera, which I don't have, unfortunately, I don't have the footage, but it appears to seem like he wasn't, you know, trying to kill anybody at all. So, anyways, the state's detention request was denied for Angel. Okay, so Angel, who was the driver, who was the guy who looked upset about the fact that Thomas had just killed the kid, he got released on a band. Okay, he's on an ankle band, like myself. And the long and short of, they said, of it is, and this is according to the judge, he said, the long and short of it is, I'm struggling to understand the state's theory of accountability with regards to Angel. Okay, so the lawyer representing Thomas said that Thomas was, quote, heavily intoxicated or intoxicated on drugs and or alcohol. And that makes the most sense of anything that anybody's said so far in this whole situation. Okay, because this whole thing is just messed up. So Thomas was on parole for aggravated domestic battery by strangling at the time of the shooting. He's been sent back to prison with a new parole date in January of 2028. According to Illinois Department of Corrections records, his previous felony convictions include theft and 2 robberies. So this is attempted first-degree murder. The 14-year-old at this point, I guess, is still hanging on. I told you guys, though, you know, if what his defense attorney said is true, the drugs is like one of the main things turning up the streets. One of the main things, if not the main thing. You know, I was locked up with a guy who was saying, like, he wouldn't have done what he did. He's telling this to the other people that are locked up. He's like, man, I wouldn't have even done that if I wasn't off that pill. He's like, matter of fact, I was off 2 pills. You know, they're admitting it themselves. Like, they wouldn't be doing this stuff, but yet they keep doing it. The drugs that make them, you know, do this crazy stuff. So anyways, man, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Thankfully, at this point, the 14-year-old is okay, man. Pray for that 14-year-old. This is your boy, Chicago News. I'm out.